Well, hello there. I thought we would continue with some of our Ask Me Anything questions, get a few more going, see if we can keep it a little happier than it was the last time. Okay, I realize I missed a question here. Just to keep you up, I did 9 questions the other day. That was 20 minutes, so I gotta pick up the pace, right? I'm not doing good so far. I scrolled down to the bottom of the comments at the very first, and I'm working my way up, and I am answering as many questions as I can, or I'm willing to. Let's get going. Veronica Sanner asked, said, I think you should have guest stylists on the show and even explore doing makeup for brunettes and brown-eyed blondes. We really do exist. Yes, and I actually think brown-eyed blondes are super stunning. I think that's one of the most gorgeous combinations. And I do love the idea of collaborating with other makeup artists because, well, with makeup artists, because I am not a makeup artist. I only can show you what I know with this palette. But yeah, I love the idea of collaborating with some makeup artists, and I am open to it. And I plan to explore that at some point. Have you thought about doing your own cosmetic line? That seems really ambitious. Oh, clear mascara for the day look. You know what? That's a good idea. I think I need to do that. I did clear mascara years ago, and I need to revisit it. Thank you. Have I ever visited Canada? Yes, I have visited Canada. I got to shoot a film in Vancouver a few years ago. That film never did come out and probably won't come out, but I had a lot of fun shooting it there. And I have been in other parts of Canada, but not since I was 11 years old, so I don't think it really counts anymore. And I am very due for a Canadian visit. Glenda, I am not convinced it's not the chemtrails either. I think there are a lot of, we're talking about my breakouts, and yes, I do change my pillowcases often, and you know, I've dealt with this on and off for 40 years. So I've got a little experience with it. I know what does and doesn't tend to make me break out. Right now, I can tell that it's hormonal because of the cyclic things that are going on at the same time. But yeah, I do think there's some stuff environmental. I think there's stuff in the air that we don't always know what it is. I'll give you that. How long do you have to be seeing a man before you let him see you without your makeup on? 9 years on, and my boyfriend only ever gets the occasional passing glimpse. Well, I do videos on YouTube where I'm seen without makeup, so it's not like it's really any secret. I am happy seeing a man. He can see me the very first date with no makeup on. I don't care. He darn well better like me for who I am and not what I look like, because, you know, I'm 51. It's gonna change. Stuff's gonna change. It's not gonna look the same forever. So he can see me without makeup anytime. Oh, thank you, Mendy. How do you keep under your eyes so youthful? They're really, truly not all that youthful. It is lighting and makeup. Lighting and makeup. I don't know what else to tell you. Let's give you a real good look at what my under eye looks like. Lines and wrinkles, just like you. We're all the same, but I have a big light that fills everything in and hopefully makes me look more attractive. Do you get Botox injections? Oh, good, somebody's derma rolling. Yeah, I love derma rolling. I have had Botox injections many years ago. I have not had Botox injected in 4 years? Yeah, about 4 years has been since I last tried Botox. And I like Botox. I have had good luck with Botox. I have also had bad luck with Botox. And I think that after my last experience with Botox, I got a little scared off. Sometimes with Botox, it would tend to make my brows a little heavy, which would result in this eyelid sinking a little more than I like. So one of the side effects that I found with Botox was that it in fact made me look older, not younger. That's the reason I don't do Botox. But I'm not saying never say never. I'm not saying I'll never do Botox. I'm not saying that people shouldn't do Botox, but that is my reason why I don't do it. It's simply vanity. It just doesn't work for me. I've had good luck with it. I've had bad luck with it, and I don't care that much. I'm okay with who I am without Botox. I'm the same way with other fillers, because I know that question's going to come up a lot. I have had other fillers done in the past, but that has also been at least 4 years, more for many of them. I first tried collagen in my lips in the 90s when that first got started, when Beaches came out and Barbara Hershey did her lips. So I tried that, and boy, did that hurt. That smarted. So yeah, tried that, went, okay, that looks nice, not worth keeping it up, too painful, too expensive, didn't care that much. A number of years ago, I had Dr. Alan Rivkin. He does a procedure where he does like Juvederm and Restylane, I think, and he does it in the, like, little white furs all over from this blanket. Dr. Alan Rivkin does in the tear troughs right here. And he charged, I did this 10 years ago, 11 years ago. He charged $1,000 for it then, and I thought it had a really, really nice effect on getting rid of the dark circles, because it literally filled in right under here. But it didn't get rid of it completely. I still had to use my Orange Highlight 1. So yeah, it worked well for about the year and a half that it lasted, but again, not enough for me to legitimize reinvesting that amount of money. I tried Restylane in my lips and right in this area right here. Again, over 4 years ago. I haven't done any cosmetic work in 4 years. I always ask for undercorrection, and I was happy with the result. You know, it filled this in a little bit, but at the same time, it made my smile look a little weird right around my nose here. So with injectables, with fillers, with the Botox, I always found that while the benefit was nice, it had other, you know, those same corrections had other things that I didn't like so much, and I didn't consider them worth investing in for me. That doesn't mean they're not worth investing in for you, and that doesn't mean that I will always feel that way. We are always entitled to change our minds, and you know, I may decide for a role that I want a particular character to look a certain way, or I may just get, you know, a bug up my butt sometime. But right now, 100% natural. Wow, I look into that light and then I look at the computer and I can't see anything. Yeah, the NYX brow pencil in taupe, it does pull a little red. Have you ever turned down a job and then regretted it later? No. The jobs that I have turned down, I have not regretted at all. There are a lot of jobs I've accepted that I've maybe, you know, later went, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have taken that job. Maybe that wasn't a wise move. But no, I haven't turned down anything I've regretted. It was Chuck Norris as dreamy in person as he seems in film. Oh, Chuck Norris is the nicest man, the nicest, sweetest man you could ever wish for. He's so quiet and so soft-spoken, and has this very quiet, gentle sense of humor, and he's a hoot. Really, really nice man, and everybody loves him so much. What would you have done if you had not become one of my favorite YouTubers and an actress? That's okay. What would I have done had I not become an actress? Wow. I decided I wanted to be a performer when I was 3.5 years old. And that's when I begged to be put in dance class. And I was always putting on plays and productions and things in my front yard, in my backyard, in my bedroom, whether people were watching, whether they weren't watching. My favorite thing was always dress up. I don't know what I would have become if I hadn't become an actress. Unhappy. I tried a lot of things. I owned a bathing suit store in a mall when I was 21. That did not go well. I sold blenders for a long time. I sold fitness apparel. I tried waiting tables. I was never any good at that. Had I not become an actor, I might have chosen to become an interior decorator or something with design, possibly something in fashion, but I think that as a career choice, I might have gone more towards interior decorating and that sort of thing had I not chosen to be an actress. But I can't imagine anything else making me happy. Do you ever find that your mascara will leak under your eyes and make raccoon eyes? No, I really don't. I think the whole raccoon eyes, mascara smudging, I think that some of us are just built that little bit different. Some of us have a little more oils under there. Some of us our lashes may touch a little bit more. All those little teeny tiny things. It is not a problem that I run into very often, unless of course I'm having one of those days where I just arbitrarily decide to stick the mascara wand straight into my eye. How old were you when you began your acting career? Did you act in high school? What types of jobs did you? I think I just answered those. When did you decide to let your hair go gray? Did you do it all at once, or did you use a box color to gradually turn it gray? Yay! You know, it took me a long time to make the decision to let my hair be gray. I dyed it red for quite a few years, and blonde. I did blonde and red with the occasional brunette look in there. I tried to dye it gray because it was already blonde and about this length, and I tried to bleach it out to like baby chick blonde and put a gray toner on it, and I found the gray toner washed out almost immediately, so it went back to ash blonde, and it kept just being ash blonde. The only way for me to get it gray was to overcompensate and take it into that sort of lavender periwinkle, and that compensated for the yellow enough to make it gray, and then I just let it grow in. But I had to take it to that extreme. When did I decide? It's been lurking in my brain for 10 years. It spent 10 years of me holding my hair back in the front of the mirror and going, yeah, I think maybe that's the right color. Maybe that silver is the And then I'd go, no, 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 nope. And I'd chicken out and I'd just go back to coloring it. But every month I would look at it and think, should I? But when I did it, I did the absolute. I went all out. I made a video because when I did it, I thought, well, I kind of got one shot at this. If it works, maybe somebody will want to know how to do it. So I had a friend come over and we made a video. If it didn't work, you'd have never seen it. You'd have never heard from me again. It worked. So I made more videos. Hi there. Next question. I have saggy skin on both sides of my mouth after losing weight. Also, can you help with chicken neck? Hey, congratulations on losing weight. That takes some serious hard work. You rock. Good for you. I don't have any advice. Once again, I'm going to go back to, I have only lived in this body, and I do not claim to be an expert. Shoot, I'm not an expert on anything other than being me. So I have not experienced that. I feel the best way that you can talk about something is if you are either very highly educated on it or if you've experienced it. And I am neither on that. So I will ask, please, any of my women who know answers to that, drop your comments down below and see if you can help, because I don't know what to do for sagging skin after losing weight. I wish I could help you with that. But I do think you are freaking awesome for losing the weight. I think that is awesome. Good for you. I am so proud of you. Oh, my favorite actors and actresses to work with. There's so many. So many. Hundreds. Tawny McClure was always a favorite. Beverly Lynn was a favorite. Brad Bartram. Ezra Buzzington. Sean Whalen. Oh my God. I have so many favorites. It's Felissa, Caroline. It's just, oh my God, I can't list favorites. I can't list favorites. I have too many. Do you use serums or essences? Hyaluronic acid and a retinol. I can't figure out the difference between a serum and or an essence. Yeah, I don't really know either. I'm sorry. I don't know the difference between a serum and an essence, and I am still learning what the heck all these things do. I love hyaluronic acid. I really am surprised at how much I like vitamin C. I got scared by retin A, and I thought retinol was the same thing for a long time, and now I've discovered it's different, and I'm bummed that all the years I should have been using retinol because I didn't, because I thought it was retin A. Yeah, it gets confusing. There's a lot of stuff out there, and I don't know the difference between a serum and an essence. Semantics is what I'm thinking. I think a lot of it's just semantics. Once again, there's people who are experts, and I am always happy to let the experts chime in. I am not an expert. How often do you use your Clarisonic machine? I don't have a Clarisonic machine. So, never. I do have a little whirly spinny brush that was the Oil of Olay one that I got at Costco a few years ago, and I used that for a few years, and I haven't used it since going to my derma roller, and gosh, I hardly ever use the microdermabrasion. I should break that out again. It's rough though. Yeah, I don't use it very often. Maybe had it been a real Clarisonic, I would have used it more. You know, you get the $40 job, you don't use it as much. Emma, thank you for being a big fan. Right now, in my color transition to gray, as well as any tips, do I still use the Manic Panic? I used the Manic Panic Blue Steel mixed with the Pastelizer 3 times. I only used it 3 times. I used it the very first time when I had my hair bleached out and I wanted to make it a silver color. I used it the first time in that very first video that I showed you. Then I used it a second time about, I'd say it was a month and a half later, and I'd felt like some of the yellow was starting to show through on my bleached ends. And then about a month and a half after that, I used it a third time. And by that point, enough of my natural gray had grown in, and I didn't feel the need to tone it anymore. When I had my bleached tips, they had a little bit of a yellow cast to them, and the Manic Panic really toned that yellow cast down. My natural silver did not have that yellow cast to it, so when I put the Manic Panic on, it gave it sort of a periwinkly tone, which was not entirely unpleasant. But I wanted to see what my natural color was because I'd never seen it before. So I stopped using the Manic Panic. That's not to say I won't ever go back to it again, because you know me, never say never. But I have not used it in a year. It's been a year since I used Manic Panic. I do maintain my silver color by using the purple shampoos and conditioner on a regular basis, and sometimes I use a blue shampoo. Facelift, Botox fillers. No facelift yet. Not saying never. Not ever saying I'm never gonna do it, but I haven't done it yet. The deciding factor on going gray was curiosity. I tend to be a rather curious person. I just like to find things out. I'm like, well, I don't know where this road goes. Let's go down this road and find out. I don't know where this path goes. Let's go down and find out. I don't know what my hair color looks like. Let's let it grow in and find out. That was the main reason, curiosity. And feeling stagnant in my career. I have played the same parts for 27 years. And I thought that perhaps with a different hair color, I might get to play different characters. And that has certainly been true. Are you married, divorced, children? We covered the children in the last Ask Me Anything video. Been married, been divorced. Been divorced now for 12 years, still friends with my ex-husband. I was married for 10 years. What is my favorite makeup brand and what is my favorite film that I have been in? My favorite film that I have been in is always the 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 that didn't come out, that never got seen, because they live in my imagination in a much bigger way than probably they are in reality. But yeah, my favorite films are the ones that I've never seen, that you will never see. I did a wonderful short film one time that all the characters were based on Sesame Street, but it was very dark and gritty. I thought that was a terrific piece. Don't know whatever happened to it. Did a couple of horror films that I thought were really interesting and edgy in the last few years, and I thought I did some good work in them, and they will never be seen. So you know, it's always kind of the one that got away. Those are my favorites. My favorite makeup brand. I don't know that I have a favorite makeup brand. Yeah, I don't have an absolute diehard one favorite. Now for on-camera foundation, I always go to Makeup Forever Ultra HD, simply because it's the one that just about every makeup artist that has ever worked on me uses that. And I figure, well, they went to school for it, why not just follow what they know? The only other one they usually use on me is RCMA, but I never see that anywhere. I never use that. Geez, these white blankets. I love these white blankets that I have, these little fuzzy white blankets, but oh, they have white fibers everywhere, and periodically I'll just see a white fiber dancing through the air. My oldest son wants to either direct or act or direct, and given the competition, even here in Canada, it makes me really nervous. Although I am supportive. He doesn't need to come to LA. Stay in Canada. More films are being made in Canada than they are in the US. So much of the business has left Los Angeles. So don't feel that you need, or that your son needs to rush down to Los Angeles to begin a career in the film industry. He can absolutely and should absolutely do that in Canada, 100%. I don't think my parents were all that surprised when I decided to become an actress, because I'd been doing it since I was 3. My whole family, after I became an actress, said, well, we're glad you finally managed to make all that posing pay off for you. There's nothing like family for being supportive, right? Once mentioned you lived in SoCal. Do you like it? I love it. I love living in LA. I can't really imagine living anyplace else. My hometown, San Luis Obispo, is beautiful, and I love to visit there, and perhaps it's someplace that I might retire to at some point, but I have lived pretty much my whole adult life in Los Angeles, and I love it. I moved to Phoenix for a few years, and I had an unfortunate job situation which made me view all of Phoenix sort of negatively, and Phoenix is probably not nearly as bad as it seemed to me, but I was working too much and couldn't really enjoy it. I had no work-life balance. Did you have primer on? No, I did not. Do you have family nearby? I do have family nearby. My parents live about 3 hours north of me, and I get to see them about once a month, and that is wonderful. I am very blessed to still have both my parents around. What prompted you to start a YouTube channel? Oh, wait, another one. How do you embrace your aging skin? Girlfriend, I do not embrace my aging skin. I fight it. What do you think I'm doing with the derma roller? What do you think I'm doing with all these devices and creams? And I am fighting it. I accept it. I don't love it. You know, I'm doing everything I can to keep my skin looking its best as it fights me, as it fights all of us, right? We're all going through that. So yeah, that's how I embrace my aging skin. I both accept it and fight it. What prompted me to start a YouTube channel? Well, I originally did a YouTube channel to do some healthy eating videos, but they weren't that great. My videos were not that great, and it turned out, I discovered if you're gonna start a YouTube channel about something, you really need to have a lot to say about it. And while I know a lot about nutrition, I'm not an expert, and I leave that to the experts to talk about nutrition. I just didn't have enough to say on the subject to really fill a YouTube channel. When I started my successful YouTube channel, it started because I wanted to make my hair gray. I had this method that I wanted to try that was only in here, and I thought, well, if it works, somebody else will want to see it, and if it doesn't work, I don't ever have to put it on YouTube. So I shot a video, put it on YouTube, and, you know, it worked. And, you know, put it on YouTube, and then I really forgot about it and lived my life. A few months went by, and I was adapting to having gray hair, and it was difficult. My palette had changed. I was a redhead for many years, a dyed redhead, but I was wearing those colors. And then once I went to silver hair, I needed different eyebrow color, different lip color, and I didn't know what it was, and I did what we have always done since we were little girls and read teen magazine, Teen Vogue. I got fashion magazines and I started flipping through them. And that's when I realized that there are no women in any of the fashion magazines with silver hair. So we're not being properly advised on what eyebrow tint we should wear with silver hair. Every makeup artist seems to just spout off, oh, well, you use taupe. But do we use taupe because taupe is the only one that's out there that's close to our hair color? Or do we use taupe because that truly is the right shade? There you go, chicken and egg. And I realized that if I'm in the industry that is creating the media, and my industry that I'm a part of is not creating the images in magazines and TV commercials and shows where women like me can gather that information, then maybe I should just do it myself. And I pretty much just decided that I would kind of be a Barbie doll. But well, I know something about hair and makeup from being an actress. I'm not a makeup artist, I'm not an expert, but I'm experimental. And I figure you have eyes and you have brains, and you can decide for yourself. So I'll try out the taupe pencil, I'll try out the granite pencil, I'll try out the gray eyeshadow, I'll try out the different things, the different lipsticks, the different eyeshadow colors, the different palettes, the different eyebrow colors. I'll try out these different things, and you can see what they look like on this shade of skin, with this shade of hair, with this shade of eyes, because that's what I've got to work with. But it's at least something. And if one person does it, then somebody else does it. And if another woman who's got darker complexion and brown eyes and salt and pepper hair is doing a YouTube channel, then the blue-eyed blondes can watch mine, the dark-eyed brunettes can watch hers. If we get, you know, an African-American woman with silver hair showing the colors that she wears, we can do it ourselves, and we can help each other learn and grow, because obviously the beauty industry is not going to do it for us. Sorry, I get a little passionate. I'll climb off my soapbox now. A waterproof eyeshadow, eyeliner, my tears smear everything away. I don't really like waterproof things very much. I tend to prefer things that just wash off. So not a big fan of waterproof anything. And I just don't seem to really have that problem. It could be years of habit of being in film and just touching my face differently. You know, I don't know. But I don't ever run into it. I'm sorry. I'm no help. I'm no help. Why you never use setting spray to finish your makeup? 'Cause I never think of it. I forget about it. I think setting spray is, you know, there are a lot of options in the cosmetic department. I don't think that everybody needs every cosmetic solution. Some people need primer more. Some people really don't need primer. Some people are going to use a heavier moisturizer, so they don't need a primer. Some people need both. Some people will find that their makeup lasts longer with a setting spray. Others will find that it does nothing for them whatsoever. Trial and error. I have a setting spray and I use it when I am going to an event where I need my makeup to absolutely positively not move. When I had a huge bruise on my arm and I was being presented an award, I used setting spray on that makeup because I knew at this event in my sleeveless top, a lot of people were going to be touching me and hugging me and congratulating me, and that makeup was going to come off. And I knew that as I'm hugging and all that, so I needed a setting spray for that. But on a daily basis, less. I don't want to do everything. So yeah, that's the reason. If I needed a setting spray more, I would use a setting spray more. If you find that you need a setting spray, then by all means use one. Our needs are all very individual.
Oh, quiet. Oh my gosh, I've got these white furs on my shirt. Oh God, I'm covered with them.
Update on face LED light mask, please. Absolutely. I did a couple of videos about the LED face mask, which has 3 different colors for light therapy. You can use the blue light to help heal inflammation and acne. It helps kill bacteria. You can use the red light to help stimulate collagen production, get rid of lines and wrinkles. If you use the green light, it gets rid of hyperpigmentation, so freckles and age spots. So it's a handy device because it covers a lot of sins, and I've been using the heck out of it, and I really like it. I haven't felt like giving it its own dedicated video, so I'm glad we brought this up. I have been using it. I thought I would use the green light, and I hardly ever use the green light. Not that I don't need it, but I tend to go for the others more. You use it for 20 minutes at a time, and from the research I've done, you're further ahead to just stay with one color for that treatment. You need 20 minutes with that colored light to get the full benefit. So switching around from red to blue to green doesn't really benefit you as much. So I pick a color for the day. I do blue light mostly lately because I get the hormonal outbreaks and I have a lovely 3-week cycle. So every 21 days, I get a hormonal outbreak. And then no sooner does it clear up, then I am right back at it again. So I'm mostly using the blue light, and when my pimples decide that they want to not be as abundant, I tried to make that sound like a positive thing. When my pimples are not as abundant, I use the red light. I should use the green light more often than I do, but I go for the wrinkle reduction because I'm like that. But very happy with the LED face mask. I find it's very relaxing to use. I will put it on and sit in front of the TV, or put it on and just close my eyes and rest, and oh, you can't bother me right now. I'm giving myself a treatment. Yeah, very, very happy with my LED face mask. I didn't know you lived in Las Vegas. That's because I didn't live in Las Vegas. I never lived in Las Vegas. I did visit a man that I was involved with. I visited him for a couple of weeks in Las Vegas last year because we were exploring the possibilities of deepening the relationship. And if you follow my videos, you know that didn't work out because he decided to get engaged to another woman. So yeah, that was fun. But yeah, never lived in Vegas. Do you think the Anastasia Granite Brow Pencil color would look good on my white eyebrows? I think that might be a little too much. I think it might be a little too dark. You have a champagne color hair. I think that with a champagne color hair, you're good with a taupe. I think the champagne and taupe are going to go together really, really nicely. So no, I wouldn't use the Anastasia Granite on your brows. I think you need a little bit more red in them. You might consider tinting them with a light ash brown color just to deepen them. You can have that professionally done at your esthetician's office. And that's, if you can afford it, that's certainly the best way to go about it. But I'm a huge fan of tinting eyebrows. Neutralizing the redness on foundation, you go something with a green base. I use a Maybelline primer that cancels out a little bit of redness, so you might try something like that. I love your positive outlook. What is your secret? I was in a dark place a few years ago. I lost my job, I lost my boyfriend, I lost the home that I was living in because I live with my boyfriend, all in the space of like a week. And then I moved to Arizona for this job that just took over my entire life and didn't allow me any time for friends or a social life. And I spent years like that. So I was in a really, really dark place. And I had to drag myself out of that dark place. It's very easy, I believe, to stay in a dark place. And you know, it's just, when I was in that darkness, all the TV shows that I watched were dark. Everything that I thought about was dark. I was just dark, 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 dark. And there's so much really good television that we can binge watch right now that's thematically dark. And I like a lot of that stuff, and I make a lot of that stuff. But when I was in a dark place, I found the first thing to really bust myself out of that was to change the TV channel. I stopped watching Breaking Bad and House of Cards and The Killing and The Tudors and all of those happy, happy shows that I was watching, and I put on things like Parks and Recreation. And I put on Community. I put on comedies. I put on, well, it took a while before I finally got on to doing stand-up comics, but I watched a lot of sort of lightweight network television. I say network specifically because when you're in a dark place, you don't really need edgy. You need silly. You need laugh. You need joy. You need to get out of the dark. And that is my first recommendation to anyone who is living in the darkness. Put some comedy on the TV. Just watch comedy for a while. Change your mindset that way. So that is one of my secrets, not such a big secret. Another secret is the secret. I just decided to be happy. I just decided to change my life to be happy. I changed everything in my life in order to be happy. That was a big decision. I moved from Arizona to California. And then once I got to California, I quit my job because my job was not going to make me happy. And I remember consciously standing in a Costco where I was selling blenders in this little teeny tiny booth. And I was realizing that as long as I am here in this place, I am never going to be out there doing any of the things that I wanted, that I was only going to be in this one spot, and that I had to not be in that spot. There was nothing wrong with that spot, but I needed to see other spots. And as long as I was in that, I couldn't see the others. And so I I quit my job and I tightened my belt. We haven't really talked a lot about my year of austerity. That'll have to be a whole other video. But I did what I call the year of austerity. I spent no money. I had no money. For 6 months, I lived on my unemployment. That was $1,800 a month. And my rent is $1,250 of that, well, $1,270. So that didn't leave a lot of money left over for the electric bill, the gas to have heat, internet so that I could upload videos onto YouTube, my cell phone bill so that I could keep in contact with the world. That really, I lived for a long time on nothing so that I could be happy. All I wanted to do, after years of spending my life not being happy, I spent a year just deciding to be happy. So I make a point of connecting with friends. I make a point of speaking to friends and helping friends. And when a friend says, hey, can you do this? Yes. Sometimes that means I'm a day late on producing a video because I thought I'd get it up sooner than I did, but a friend needed me, so I needed to be there for a friend. And doing that makes me happy, and happy counts for a lot. But the secret is you have to make up your mind. You can live in the dark or you can live in the light. And I hope that we all choose to live in the light. Did you always want to become an actress? Yep. Your gray hair is amazing. Is it your natural gray? Thank you. You have no idea how amazing it is to hear people say that. Well, you know, my parents were hairdressers and I grew up hearing that I had bad hair my whole life. So the fact that I get compliments on my hair now is just a hoot and a half. The gray hair is more or less natural. It is not, I don't go to a salon. I don't use box color. I don't do any of that. I do influence the color by using purple shampoos. Schwarzkopf is my favorite. Schwarzkopf also has a toner called Silver White that I spray into my hair about once a month, leave it in for about 15 minutes to half an hour, and then rinse it out and then condition. And that tones the yellow out of my hair. So those are the only ways I change my natural hair color. But I'm not opposed to it. I think that just because somebody chooses to have gray hair doesn't mean it has to be 100% natural. You can have highlights and lowlights woven in brighter silver or a darker steel to give it some depth. Have the gray that you want. Do you have French origins? With a name like Monique Parent, really? You think I might have French origins? Yes. Yes, my family is French Canadian. We came down to the U.S. in 1895, I think. So we've been in America for a long time, though we are French Canadian descent. Oh, let's see. If you could go back and have one do-over, what is the one thing you would like to do differently and why? I don't know what I'd like to do differently. I started to think, oh, well, I wouldn't move to Arizona. And then I thought, well, I learned a lot in Arizona. I met my friend Andy in Arizona, who is such a wonderful friend to me. He and I are building Spark Lily together. That wouldn't exist had I not lived in Arizona. I might not be making YouTube videos if I hadn't move to Arizona, so I don't think we can do that one. And we addressed this before, I'd have had children. But do-overs? No. There is nothing that I would do a do-over. Now, could I have made wiser choices? Absolutely. But no 100% do-overs. Because anything that I would do over might cause certain things to not exist or not happen, and I love my life. I love where I'm at. I wouldn't change that for anything. So many questions, so little time. What would the man of your dreams look like? What would the man of my dreams look like? Dark hair. Sometimes pale skin, sometimes dark skin, I don't know. I generally go for dark hair though. That's pretty much an absolute. I always seem to go for a guy that has like a little space or a little overlap or a little chip or something right there. That's apparently a thing. I like a strong nose. I like a man with hair on his chest. I like to get my hands in there. I like to nuzzle into it. My man looks an awful lot like Cary Grant. My man looks a lot like Tony Curtis. My man looks a lot like George Clooney. My man looks a lot like Hugh Jackman. But I don't want any of those men because they're actors, and I don't want actors. Yeah, my dream man's fine. Most of the men I have dated have just looked like regular people, though. Looks are not top of my list when selecting a mate. Intelligence seems to draw me more, and humor a lot. Have you broken more hearts, or have you had your hearts broken more? I think it's a 50-50. I think it's fair to say it's a 50-50 mix. Men have not treated me well in my life, but I've broken my fair share of hearts. It's never fun. It's never pleasant to have that conversation with anyone to say, I'm sorry, I don't feel that way about you. So, yeah, I'm gonna say it's 50-50. Have you ever felt like you met your soulmate? Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't think we just have one soulmate. I think we have a number of people that can be our soulmates. And I have definitely met him. And I've definitely said goodbye to him. And I've met him again. A completely different one, not the same one. But yeah, I think we have soulmates. I think we have more than one. And you know it when you meet one. I look forward to meeting all the rest of them. And soulmates can be friends, not just lovers. You know, I have a lot of soulmates that are friends where, you know, me and a girlfriend, we like ran into each other at a party and we start talking, and then ever since we're like that, you know, for 30 years. I have guy friends like that. I'd like to have that 30-year relationship with a man, but haven't met him yet. We'll find him one of these days. Have you ever had plastic surgery or any expensive beauty treatments? Okay. Plastic surgery, we talked about boobs. We talked about the injectables that I've done. I did an IPL, Intense Pulse Light Photofacial, when they first came out in 2000, and it left me with a little tiny scar on the side of the nose. Let's see if you can see this. That little scar right there. And that was an expensive beauty treatment. It was expensive in more than one way. I forget what it cost, but it was a brand new technology, so it was expensive at the time, and I've been left with a scar for 17 years. So yeah, that's an expensive beauty treatment. Cosmetic surgery, not yet. What would I do? Oil therapy sounds interesting. The thread lift sounds interesting. I'm not opposed to having, I never know how to say it, blepharoplasty, I don't know how to say it. I could spell it probably, but I can't say it. But, you know, an eye lift. I wouldn't mind having an eye lift. Sorry, Science Serum. I'd still need you for wrinkles, though. That's something that maybe someday I wouldn't mind that. Maybe someday. But not yet. So far, this is all real. This is all normal. Oh, it's funny. A lot of people say, talk about my nose job. If I got my nose done, I need to get my money back. Because look at that. Off to one side. Okay, I'm going to take one more question, and then I think we're going to wrap up this visit. Okay, 2 more. What countries would you like to visit? I would love to visit Ireland and Scotland. I have not yet been to Italy. Someday I would like to go to Greece. Love to go to Egypt. I kind of like the idea of going to Russia, but I'm not sure how much time I'd want to spend there because it seems mighty cold. Any of your tropical islands I'd like to visit. Yeah, most of the world. I really haven't seen much of it. I've seen a little, never enough. And it's been, I haven't really traveled at all in the last decade. So I'm due. Let's get me out of here. And the last question, what were you like at school? Were you one of the cool kids? I was so not one of the cool kids. No, I was not a cool kid. I may have been a cool kid. In hindsight, I think people may have thought I was cool, but I never felt cool. I was just kind of did my own thing. I was like, oh, yeah, don't want to do that. Yeah, don't want to do that. Yeah, I'll go over here and read a book. So I just went ahead and did my own thing. Which makes me very uncool, or the coolest. So which is it? I don't know. Both. But no, I was not one of the popular kids. I was never one of the big social scene. I tended to be shy. I still tend to be shy. I know, right? You don't believe that. I have a weird sort of shyness. I'm shy about being in with people. I have no issue with being up in front of people. Oh, what a shock, I know, right? You could put me on a stage in front of a massive audience and I'm fine. But put me in a group of people and I become very awkward and tongue-tied and nervous. So there you have it. And that is all I got for today. We will continue this very soon. I'm going to keep working through and answering all of your questions and Ask Me Anything. Do not drop your questions here. If you have any further questions, put them all on the original post. I will drop a link for it down below in the description box. I'll try to remember to put a link right there. Hey, you see that little eye there? Sometimes I try to point you in the direction of a video that I think you might like, or something that's pertinent to what I talked about. And I shouldn't be pointing that direction because it might be there. I never know. Let's see if I turn this. I think it's there. I think it's that side. I love you bunches. I will talk to you very, very soon. And I hope you have an awesome rest of your day.